pleasant day to each and everyone. By the way, I am Michael John Rosas, your reporter for today. My report is all about Lesson 7, Strategy 9, Design Thinking. So let's proceed. What is design thinking? So design thinking is a mindset and an approach to learning, collaboration, and problem solving. It is a structured framework for identifying challenges, gathering information, generating potential solution, refining ideas, and testing solution. Design thinking allows us for believe in ourselves that we can make a difference and bring out our creative and innovative potentials that transform difficult challenges into opportunities for design. This approach has 4 characteristics. So let's discuss that later, the 4 characteristics. But for now, what is design thinking? Ang design thinking ay isang sukatan kung paano tayo mag-isip, makipag-cooperate, or mag-perform ng isang specific na bagay, or yung mag-set ka ng goal mo para sa isang bagay. So let's proceed to the 4 characteristics. First is human-centered. It starts from having a deep compassion and understanding of people needs. So human-centered, focus on your student. Know your target or know your students, who they are o kung ano sila, what challenge they face o anong challenge na hinaharap ng mga student mo, and what they need o anong kailangan nila. The need of a student is learning, right? Learning lang ang kailangan ng estudyante. Ma-achieve mo ito sa paraan ng pagtanong-tanong mo sa iyong estudyante at pag-obserba kung paano sila mag-isip, gumalaw at kanilang pakiramdam. Base sa mga nakalap mong datos, malalaman mo na kung ano ang problema ng iyong mga estudyante na kailangan mong mabigay o masolusyonan para sa iyong mga estudyante. So, pangalawa, collaborative. Solving problem is a lot easier and faster with several wise minds. It benefit from various perspectives and insight. So, mas madali ma-solve ang problem o maresolba ang problema basta magtutulungan kayo or meron kayong cooperation sa isa't isa. So, third characteristic is optimistic. Optimistic is an approach that believes in our potential to create a positive change in our lives, no matter what problems or difficulties could be hindering the task, and it holds onto the primary idea that design thinking is a worthy and enjoyable venture. So optimistic is showing hope to your student that everything has a chance, and be positive always. That is optimistic means. So the last characteristics is experimental. What is experimental? From the word experiment. So it is an activity that gives room for mistakes and failures, because from them individuals learn and become better. It is actually about learning by doing. Consequently, it is an approach that looks into new, better, and creative way of improving our way of life and finding solution to the many problems of the society and people. So, dito sa experimental naman, from the word experiment, dito naman ay tinatawag nating trial and error, kasi hindi ka matututo kung hindi ka dumaan sa kamalian. So let's proceed to the design process. Design process, it is a structured approach for developing and applying ideas. It has 5 phases that help people identify problems and develop creative and appropriate solution to such problems. The 5 phases include: first is discovery. Discover new things that make you interest. So the second is interpretation. Makapag-interpret ka ng mga theory o kahit ano pa. Third is ideation. Makipag-collaborate ka, give and take ng ideas. Meaning yan, collaborative effort. So, the fourth is experimentation. Yun nga, yung sinabi ko kanina, experimentation, yung trial and error. Last is evolution. Evolution, asahan mong magbabago ang lahat ng bagay na iniisip mo. Hindi lahat ng nasa isip mo, yun na lahat. Meron talagang magbabago. So,
Number 2. How to use design thinking as a teaching strategy. Before starting the design process, one should have a specific and intentional problem to address that will be called a design challenge. The challenge should be understandable and manageable, one that is not too long or too small, not too vague or too simple. Some considerations when identifying design challenge are: Number 1. List possible topics. Number 2. Frame the problem. Number 3. Keep it simple. Number 4. Sketch out end goals. Number 5. Define measures of success. Number 6. Establish constraints. And last, write a brief. A design challenge is fundamental to every process because it will drive the whole process from the start until its completion. Creating the how might we question to address is very essential. The question should be broad to accommodate unexpected possibilities yet narrow to let the team focus. Here are some examples of challenge that might inspire you and the team. Number 1. How might we engage the students in reading? Number 2. How might we create a curriculum that teaches the students about the brain and about who they are as learners? Number 3. How might we design our classroom space to be student-centered? Number 4. How might we create a space for teacher collaboration? Number 5. How might we build school-family partnership? Number 6. How might we adopt the school schedule to the learning rhythms of our students? Number 7. How might we support a more well-rested campus? Number 8. How might we design our campus to serve our students and the community? So after identifying the design challenge, start to plan your design. Devote time for the project. Decide how much time you are going to use for the entire design process. Moreover, prepare these 3 important components and aspects of the process. Number 1. Team. Design process is collaborative effort. Select those people whom you trust and can help you fulfill the goals of the project. Start small but invite variety. Choose people who have different insights and perspectives. Delegate specific roles to them. Give room for both collaborative work and individual work. Number 2. Spaces. Choose a specific area where the team can meet regularly and work together. And last, materials. Prepare all the necessary materials and accessories for the project. Some of the common supplies include post-it notes, large post-it pads, flip chart, adhesives, blank papers, colored papers, scissor, and last, digital camera. Hi to each and everyone. I am Ruby Rose Romuar, and I am about to discuss the one of the 3 phases of the design process. Let's start! So this time, I will discuss the 5 phases of the design process. So first, discovery. During these initial stages, the individual or the team is open for new ideas and opportunities. It has 3 sub-stages, which are understand the challenge, prepare research, gather inspiration. So I will explain the understand the challenge first. So number 1, review the challenge. Letter A, collect thoughts. In collecting thoughts, you are going to spend a short time thinking before making a decision or forming an opinion. So you are going to give some thoughts to your project in order to complete or finalize the thoughts that you want to tell to your design project. Letter B, review constraints. So when we say constraints, it is the state of being hacked, restricted, or compelled to avoid or perform some action. So it is a limitation or restriction. So why review constraints is important? It is important to know and to control the limit or restricts in the project and to know the limits of what design project is expected to accomplish. So letter C, reframe challenge. It is a frame or express words or a concept or plan differently. So you are going to review, replan, reassess, or reevaluate. So if you are reframing something, like for example in your project, it will help you to come up with new ideas or good ideas, and the project will be more creative and innovative as well. Letter D, create a visible reminder. In creating a visible reminder, it will help you to remind what you are going to do. It is good to have a visible reminder to make sure you remember to check your list and to remember to do the things you will need to do. Number 2, share what you know. Letter A, define what you don't know. In defining what you don't know, you are going to research something or to ask someone na alam mong makakatulong sa'yo na malaman mo yung mga bagay na hinahanap o kung saang bagay ka pa naku-confuse in order to clarify and enlighten you. Letter B, build on your knowledge and fill in the gaps. So in building on your knowledge and fill in the gaps, if you want to know something, you must be willing or you must have the willingness to learn or discover new things kasi there is no limitations naman in learning. So take note of that. Because in learning, it will help us to develop, grow, progress, or expand our knowledge to become an knowledgeable one. Number 3, build your team. Letter A, share who you are. When you're going to build a team, all of you needs to introduce yourselves. So, dapat magkakilanlan kayo sa bawat isa sa inyo kasi the more na magkakilala kayo, the more na malalaman nyo yung mga ugali nyo bawat isa sa inyo. Malalaman nyo yung bad attitudes and good attitudes. And the more na mas makilala nyo yung mga ugali nyo, the more na mag-strong yung relationship nyo as a team. So letter B, define your individual and team goals. So, kailangan nyo mag-set ng goal ninyo either individually or as a team. Kasi yung goal na yan yung makakatulong or yan yung magiging tulay nyo para magtagumpay kayo sa lahat ng project na gagawin nyo. At saka, yung goal na yan yung makakapag-motivate pa sa inyo na makagawa pa ng mga activity or mga project sa team ninyo. Letter C, agree on roles. So sa pagbibigay ng role ng teammate mo, just accept and respect it. Kailangan maging responsible ka, give your best, at saka gawin mo rin yung part mo. And huwag mo iaasa yung trabaho mo sa ibang teammates mo. At most importantly, kailangan magtulungan ang bawat isa sa inyo para na din kasi yan sa ikabubuti ng proyekto at ng grupo ninyo. Letter D, Give feedback. So dito, open ang lahat ng member ng team ninyo. Each one of you have the chance to give any suggestions, feedbacks, or any ideas. Dahil may karapatan ng bawat isa sa inyo na makapagpahayag ng damdamin or saloobin nila. And sa pagbibigay ng suggestions, feedbacks, or ideas, mas mapapaunlad pa niya yung project na pinaplanuhan ninyo. At most importantly, kapag magbibigay ang isa sa inyo ng mga feedbacks or opinions, kailangan respetuhin din yon para na din sa ikakaayos ng lahat. Number 4, define your audience. Letter A, list immediate contacts. You must have the list of contacts or the information of your audience, not also to your audience, but also the people involved to your design project. Letter B, think more broadly. You must not focus only on one plan. Just try discover more, learn more, and just open your mind in everything that you know will help you to your design project to be more creative and more innovative. Letter C, build an overview. So you must build what is the overview or the general review of your design project para malaman ninyo kung ano yung magiging takbo o yung magiging purpose ng project ninyo. At malaman nyo rin yung mga kailangan pang i-improve doon sa project na gagawin ninyo. Letter D, create a visible reminder. Number 5, refine your plan. You must do sketching in a calendar, form agreements, as well as create a visual reminder in order for your design project will be more organized and well arranged. Number 2, prepare research. Number 1, identify sources of inspiration. Thinking of positivity and identifying sources of inspiration makes your team and your design project successful because you are motivated and inspired of doing such things to your design project. Letter B, think of extremes. Letter C, make a list of activities you want to do. Create a list of activities you want to do to your design project. Plan with your team and make sure that the activities you are going to plan are related to your project. Number 2, select research participants. Letter A, describe the people you want to meet. In planning of your design project, you are also planning who will be the part of this project. To select the participants, you are going to describe first the people you need and you want to meet. You must follow also of what you have discussed or wrote in your project design about the participants you needed. Letter B, plan the interaction and logistics. To finally meet your selected participants, your team must have planned and must be prepared of meeting them because at first, your team and your project needs them, so you have to you have the responsibility to manage your participants. Letter C, invite participants. If your plan of meeting with the selected participants is ready and finalized, then it is the time that your team will invite them. At kapag alam nyo na walang oras yung participants na i-interviewin ninyo, just respect na lang din yung time nila at saka sa kanila. Pwede na lang balikan ninyo yung mga participants nyo para i-reschedule yung interview ninyo. Letter D, track your recruiting progress. In this activity, you must track your recruiting progress, meaning make sure you are tracking in every meeting that your team had with your participants. Number 3, build a question guide. Letter A, identify topics. So as you're planning to create a project, your team must know the context or the topic of your project. Letter B, develop questions. Meaning, your team gonna make some questions that is related to your topic. and the questions you are really curious to and aiming for the desired answer. Letter C. Organize your questions. You must organize your questions so that you will know it step by step in order to know and what is the next you're going to ask. Letter D. Create a question guide that is readable, meaning your question guide should be readable, not too small nor too big. Letter E. Build tangible conversation starters. Start your conversations with your participants in a simple questions like, for example, ask their names, age, or where do they live, and etc. Don't ask them immediately about of what you are really intention or the purpose of the meeting. Letter F. Confirm your plans. Make sure your plans are well arranged and already settled. And last, letter H. Prepare your equipment. Number 4. Prepare your field work. Letter A. Establish trust with participants. So it is important to put your trust with your selected participants para din maging magaan yung magiging trabaho niyo sa isa't isa at para maging maganda rin yung magiging outcome ng project na gagawin niyo. And letter B, get the most out of your interactions. Letter C, know what to look for. And letter D, capture what you see. Number 2, gather inspiration. Number 1, immerse yourself in context. Letter A, plan your observations. Letter B, explore and take note. You must always explore and explore hanggang pwede pa until you finally get what you want to know. And always take note the important things that you have learned. Letter C, capture what you have seen. Number 2, seek inspiration in analogous setting. Letter A, think of analogies that connects with your challenge. Letter B, make arrangements for your activities. And letter C, absorb the experience. Number 3, learn from experts. Letter A, choose the participants. Choose the participants that you think that they will help you to your project.
There you go.
Look the participants who will participate or cooperate from the beginning of your project until the end of your project. Letter B, set up for a productive conversation. Make sure that your conversation with participants are productive and also make sure that the questions that you have prepared are answerable and can make your participants answer easily and comfortable. Number 4, learn from users. There we have letter A, learn from individuals. Letter B, learn from the people's documentation. Letter C, learn from group. Letter D, learn from peers observing peers. So in general, you must learn to each other. So let's proceed to the next phase, which is interpretation. During this stage, ideas are transformed into meaningful insights. The team finds meaning into every idea and make them actionable. It involves filtering and sorting of ideas until a clear direction for the design is envisioned. Number 1, tell stories. Letter A, capture your learnings. Just keep learning of something that will help you in the future. You must always have the willingness to learn and learn something in order for you to be a knowledgeable person because in learning, it will develop you to be a better person. Letter B, share inspiring stories. Sharing inspiring stories makes other people motivated and inspired. They will feel the positivity vibes and encourage them because of the inspiring stories you have shared. Number 2, search for meaning. Letter A, find themes. Letter B, make sense of findings. Make sure that your findings has content to be discussed and your findings must well-grounded and meaningful as well. Letter C. Define insights. When we say insights, it is a focus on understanding of a human emotion, behavior, or belief. Insights is the connection of our head and heart knowledge, so meaning it is an information with inspiration. Number 3. Frame opportunities. Letter A. Create a visual reminder. Visual reminders are one of the keys to helping you get things done and stay organized. We use visual reminders to clarify our own thinking. Letter B. Make insights actionable. It is good to think that these insights in our minds will turn into an actions. It is better that our insights are actionable because it will prove and show of the development, meaningful, and productive in our works. And now, let's proceed to the third stage of the design process, which is ideation. Letter C. Ideation. It means the process of generating ideas. More ideas are formed as the team brainstorms. Good preparation with clear set of rules encourages successful brainstorming. So when we say ideation, it is the formation of ideas or concepts. It is the creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas. There are hundreds of ideation techniques, and one of the techniques is brainstorming. So brainstorming is a way to generate ideas within a group of setting. It is usually used in the beginning stages of a project where the possibilities for the project are not clearly understood or defined. Brainstorming allows people to think more freely without fear of judgment as well. So in ideation, there are two substages. Number 1. Generate ideas. Letter A. Prepare for brainstorming. So if you want your brainstorming session to be successful, you must be prepared and plan it well and carefully in order to organize all you need, and it will be successful. Letter B. Facilitate brainstorming. Meaning, you should know the flow of the brainstorming session. When you facilitate a brainstorming session, go in order and remind people to capture those thoughts. By writing them down, they will be finally ready to share when their time to speak comes up. C. Select promising ideas. Meaning, list down all the important ideas you have heard during the brainstorming session. Choose that you think it has a clear goals and it is meaningful. Remember, evaluate first the ideas because it is essential to have a decision making to make selecting the right ideas as efficient and effective. Letter D. Sketch to think. Sketches are produced in many domains to communicate with self or others. Remember, sketching is very helpful to keep the following goals in our minds. Number 2. Refine ideas. Letter A. Do a reality check. Reality check is a good because it helps you to see what is really happening or possible. Letter B. Describe your idea. You must describe your idea to know what is the part in there has a point. A strong description of idea must be stand out and it should be catch someone's attention.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Darlene Kiswaan. My report is all about experimentation, evolution, and sample lesson plan. Experimentation. Experimentation means it's the stage of making ideas come to life by creating prototypes. The ideas become tangible. They are shared with other people. Suggestions from others are encouraged to improve and refine the prototype. Prototypes help us find the best combination of material and design before proceeding to the final design and product. Make prototypes. So for you, choose form that best represent your idea. It could be storyboard, diagram, story, advertisement, mock-up, or role-play. You may not be able to get it right at first, but the best prototype is actually the one that gets better over time. Then they have 7 get feedback. So the first is identify sources of feedback. Second, select feedback participants. Third, build a question guide. And fourth, facilitate feedback conversation. Fifth, capture feedback learnings. Six, integrate feedbacks. And seven, identify what's needed. Evolution. Evolution means it is the ideas involved and improve over time. This stage allows envisaging the future and planning for the next steps and communicating with people who can help in the fulfillment of the project. So here's the example. If you plan your future, then the important is communicating with other people. Then track learnings. So in the track learnings, define success. So, define success, it is consider the people involved and trace indicators of success. Second, document progress. It is identify the signs of change, share stories, discuss effects, and celebrate achievements. Second is move forward. So the first thing that you want to do is, first is you need to plan next steps. Second is engage others. Third is you need to build a community.
So here's the sample of lesson plan. So in the lesson plan, they have topic. The topic was about energy transformation and simple machines. Learning competence. The learner should be able to, first is manipulate simple machines to describe the characteristics of uses. Second is demonstrate the practical and safe uses of simple machines. So in the engage is introduce the simple challenge to your students. So the challenge is, how can I separate this piece of paper into 2 pieces with straight edges? So in the explore is use available materials from the laboratory room or bring samples of simple machines so that the student can explore levers, pole systems, and inclined planes.